Sound off time now, and every day on Live at 3, we tackle one of the day's big issues with our colleague from News Radio 620 WTMJ, Jeff Wagner. Well, State Senator Glenn Grothman standing by his bill that considers single parenthood as a contributing factor to child abuse. The controversy grabbed the national spotlight after the West Bend lawmaker made strong remarks about unwanted pregnancies. So the sound off question today is, should single parenthood be discouraged?
You want to know what a small world it is? Glenn Grothman and I debated against each other in high school. I went to Nicolet, he went to Homestead. We have known each other for that long. Let's start with Ann in West Bend.
In regard to Senator Grothman's comments about single parents and especially single mothers, not all single parents chose to be single parents. Some of us are surviving widows and lost our spouse when our children were very young. This is an antiquated view that should have been left from the 1950s. There are no more Cleaver households.
You know, what's interesting is people hear what they want in this particular topic. You have a lot of calls like that. Then you have a lot of other people who are saying, well, wait, I thought part of the problem we have in this country today is you have this huge number of unwed mothers, the 15 and 16-year-old girls who are becoming pregnant. And a lot of people would say, well, clearly that's probably something that we should discourage. The problem with Senator Grothman's remarks is he's kind of put everybody under that umbrella. So you get callers like that, and you get the people who are saying, well, of course, we shouldn't be encouraging 16-year-old girls to have babies. Here's Bob in West Allis.
I do know several young couples and older couples who have been together longer than long and never married, would not be considered single parents, but they're successful at raising their families. That document really doesn't make a family. Single parenthood usually puts a burden on society as well, and the child, so I'm against it.
You know, there's no doubt that it's easier to raise children if you have a spouse and you have a partner. The reality of the world is that that doesn't happen for a lot of people.
Right.
So, like you said, you can't lump everybody into the same category because things happen in life. You never know where life will take you.
And I know, you guys cover these stories all the time. One of the things, on the flip side, that's a little bit frustrating for me is a lot of times when you hear these child abuse cases, it tends to be a boyfriend who's living with the woman. It's not a biological parent. Now, that's not always the case, but a lot of times it's so frustrating, and it's that, okay, the gal has 2 kids, she's moved in with the guy who doesn't have the relationship with the children, is upset that the baby's crying. So it's a frustrating thing. I think Senator Grothman could have been more careful in presenting
it. And
I
think that's an interesting point, because I've always said that if, God forbid, anything happened to my husband, I don't know if I could get remarried, because I'd be afraid of bringing like a stranger in close to my kids. That's my choice.
Right.
So, I guess it does come down to the choices that we make in life. You have to be smart.
Right, and that's just another one of the realities. This is a very, very complex issue, unquestionably. Here's Jim in Lake Geneva.
I mean, look at what's happened to our society, to our country, to our world, since there's so many single parents out there. Absolutely, it should be discouraged. We should do all we can to help to reduce the amount of single parents.
Well, as Senator Grothman had said before, and you said he may have overstepped or should be a little bit more careful, saying, well, things were like this back in the 1950s. There were less problems back in the 1950s. That's causing a lot of controversy as well.
Yeah, because they've always, I suspect that situation. So, and single parents, it's different. I mean, everybody's in a different circumstance. It's one thing to have the 32-year-old couple that splits up where they're both still apart. It's another thing to have the 15-year-old girl that's given birth, the unwed pregnancy sort of thing, the unwed mother. It's a very complicated issue. I'm candidly not sure it's the role for the state one way or the other with a law. Here's Christine in Milwaukee.
Yes, single parenthood should be discouraged. If you're going to have kids, it would really be better if you were married.
Of course it would, but that's not the real world. That's not the world that we live in. It just doesn't work like that for everybody all the time. I mean, it's not utopia out there, people.
If nothing else, this has opened up a fascinating discussion, which I think maybe people should look at it beyond just what Glenn Grothman was presenting and talk about the overall issue. So,
all right, thanks a lot, Jeff. Switching gears now, let's head over to Storm Team Forecaster